How does building a home or buying a new construction home in Vancouver, Camas, and Clark County, Washington work? That's what we're talking about today. Hey, welcome back to the Living in Vancouver and Camas, Washington YouTube channel. I'm your host, Hannah Dubine, and I'm so glad that you're here today because we're talking about one of my most asked questions, which is about new construction. How does new construction work in Vancouver, Camas, Clark County, Washington area? Because it's much different in different places around the country. So today I'm going to be answering some of those main questions, going over kind of the general framework of how building a new home in our area works, and we hope this is a great starting point for anyone who's interested in new construction in the area. By the way, if you haven't already, subscribe to our weekend newsletter, Weekend Happenings with Hannah. We put up the best 3 to 5 events every weekend of fun things going on in the area. We're not going to spam you, we're not going to send you extra stuff, but you're going to love this email. We'll have the link down below. So the intuitive question that most people ask who've never built a home before or bought a new construction home is, Hannah, how does buying new construction work? And I wish I could just answer it in one sentence. However, what you need to know up front is that every situation is different, every builder is different, every neighborhood is different, every lot is different. So if one builder is building in a neighborhood in Vancouver and they're building in a different one in Camas, they might have a little bit of a different procedure and you might have to do different things for each of those neighborhoods because no exact piece of land is the same. It wouldn't make sense if it was always the same every time. And then of course, different builders are different companies and therefore they run their process a little bit differently. So just keep that in mind as we talk about this. I'm gonna divide building in our area up into 4 main categories. The first is entry-level spec homes. The second is mid-level where you choose your plan. The third is custom home subdivisions. And the fourth is a custom one-off build on your own lot. And those are in order from least expensive to most expensive. So let's talk about the first category of homes, which would be like an entry-level spec home. You'll also hear this referred to as like a tract house, tract home community. That's basically what this is. I would say we don't have a ton of it here. We are getting more of it as land is becoming more valuable. I work with people who come from places like Arizona and Texas where this is extremely common. They just basically copy and paste the same home. I have yet to go in a neighborhood where it's the exact same home and the exact same floor plan for every single house, but this is more of a repetitive look. A lot of the builders that do this, so like the biggest 2 that come to mind for me, or I guess 3 would be Lennar, D.R. Horton Express Homes, and LGI Homes. So Lennar and D.R. Horton are ones you may have heard of. They're national brands. They build all across the country in different markets. And for the most part, their business model is to build the home and then sell it once it's already being built or when it's completed. So we would consider that a spec home. And what spec home stands for is speculation. The builder is basically speculating that they're going to be able to sell the home after it's partially done or almost done. In some neighborhoods, you can choose your plan that you want to go with and they will build that for you. But usually these types of builders are on a smaller budget and so they're going to give you less flexibility with what you can change and what you can't change. This type of new construction is a great option for people that want to be on a budget. This is the lowest price you're going to pay for new construction home is going to be this tract type of housing. So if you have a smaller budget, you want to live below your means, and you don't need anything super crazy fancy, exactly what you want, this is a great option. The next tier of homes would be like a mid-level, choose your plan type of neighborhood. So an example of this right now would be the North Haven neighborhood, which is building in Ridgefield. We have Haven Homes, Pacific Lifestyle, and I believe Richmond American up there, but Pacific Lifestyle Homes is one of our local builders here that does a lot of quantity, and that's the kind of home that they build. They build a nice quality product. It's really beautiful at the end of the day. You can choose some of your finishes, but they do have pre-picked out plans. You don't just get to move around where the garage is and move around the rooms and knock walls out. All that kind of stuff is reserved for a higher level of home. But with this type of home building, you can pick your plan before it starts. Pick out the lot that you want it in because it has a view or because it faces a certain way. You like how it's positioned in the neighborhood. And then you can pick your finishes and make it what you want. The biggest builders that come to mind for this type of building here would be like Pacific Lifestyles and Holt Homes. do a great job at this, and there's lots of other smaller builders that don't build as much quantity as those two builders, but they're still building subdivisions like that all around. This is a really great option if you kind of have a middle class income and you want to live pretty comfortably, but you also want something that's a step up from a tract home where things are a little bit more custom. Maybe you want to choose a couple finishes that fit your lifestyle really well, things that you really want in your house. This is a great option for you. Start to finish for this mid-level type of home is usually going to take around 6 to 9 months, depending on, of course, where you're building, what you're building, and all of the little specifics. The next tier of homes would be a custom home subdivision. So custom home subdivision is going up the ladder, so it's going to be more expensive to buy a home like this. The neighborhood that comes to mind for me as an example for this would be Northside, which is in 𝐍𝐞𝐢𝐠𝐡𝐨𝐵𝐻, goes to Camas School District. I've featured it here on the channel. In Northside right now we have New Tradition, Kingston Homes, and Toll Brothers building. So for all of these home builders, they do have pre-picked out plans, right? They don't want us as consumers coming in and just putting things wherever. They're better at picking that out. So they have plans picked out, but they give you some flexibility with moving things and adding significant structural changes. Maybe you want to take out that third car garage bay and you want to put in a home office, or you want to put in some type of gym thing that opens to the outside. And finishes, again, are a step up because it's more of a custom home, and you can get some really cool features in these type of homes. Build time for these type of homes can be a little bit more, think 8 to 12 months depending on the builder, the neighborhood, the lot, the time of year, etc. Another thing I want to add about these type of subdivisions is when you go into the neighborhood, the lots are reserved for specific builders. So you can't just come in the neighborhood and say, I'm choosing whatever builder I want. The lots are allocated to the builders, and a lot of times what they'll do is they'll stagger them. They'll weave them in and out within each other because they want the neighborhood to get some variety to it. They don't want all of the same looking homes to be next to each other where, half the neighborhood was built by one builder and half it was built by a different one. That makes it look like it's two separate neighborhoods. So you come in the neighborhoods and you'll see signs stuck in each lot, and one will say Kingston Homes, this lot is available. And then next to it, New Traditions, this lot is available. Next to it, Cascade West, this lot is available. So if you want to build with a specific builder, you need to make sure that you choose one of their lots. You can't build a New Traditions home on the Kingston Homes lot. They're not going to let you do that. Kingston Homes, New Traditions, Toll Brothers, Richmond American Homes, Cascade West, these are all examples of local builders that do high quality builds. A couple of those were national, Richmond American, Toll Brothers, those are national. And they will let you choose what you want and build you a higher quality home. The next highest tier, most expensive, most complicated new construction you can do here in the area would be a custom one-off build on your own parcel of land. This is a much more complicated process than any of the other three. Reason being, you're bringing your own land. I wouldn't recommend doing this as your first home. I really wouldn't. I don't know anyone who's ever done their first home, buying their own land, doing it completely custom. That would just be really crazy. This is usually the forever home for people. So usually they're a little bit older, they've got money in the bank. If you want to have the mansion out on 5 acres or an acre or whatever it is, off a couple minutes away from town, this is what you would want. And the first thing you need to do is you need to secure some land that's buildable. This is challenging. This is really challenging, and it can take quite a bit of time, especially with work from home now. People want to have their own private land, but they also want to have enough internet, and that's a pretty fine line. You go out too far and you're not going to get good internet, and you're in too close and you don't have land that's private, or you don't have land that's buildable. When you're looking for land, you need to check to make sure the zoning is proper. You need to have contractors and service providers out to come and make sure that a well can be put in, that a septic system can be put in, because it's probably not going to be hooked up to the public sewer. You want to make sure that a house can even be built on that land, that it's suitable ground for that. You want to make sure you get your electric in there, you've got all your utilities coming to you, and all of those things take money and time up front. So you usually can't easily do all of these things on a loan. It's much easier to pay cash for the land and pay cash for these services to get the land ready to build on. There are some options out there to take a loan to buy the land, but they're pretty stringent on their requirements and it's going to require a high down payment. It's usually not worth the hassle. So once your land is ready to go, you can start contacting builders to come out and tell you what kind of home they could build on the property. Builders like Kingston Homes, Garrett Custom Homes, Axiom, Affinity, Marnella, all of those local builders, they're going to come out, they're going to build you a beautiful, high quality, custom luxury home, and you can ask them to do whatever you want. Depending on the complexity of the home, a build like this could take over a year. If you end up working with a really small builder who doesn't have their ducks in a row, it could take a really, really long time. The builders I just mentioned a minute ago, they're well known, they do higher production in the area, so I would recommend someone like that rather than, someone that doesn't have a website or doesn't have a staff. That's probably not a good idea. One of the best things to do to get inspiration if you're looking to build a custom home is to go to the Parade of Homes celebration here in Clark County, Washington. It happens every year at the end of the summer, and half a dozen to a dozen of the best custom builders in the area get together, they build a subdivision, they build each a house or two each, and it's just done to the nines, super cool finishes, very unique, ultra luxury homes. $2-3 million plus usually, and that is a great place to get ideas and to see which builders you like and which maybe your style doesn't quite fit with. So that is the high level overview of how building in Clark County works. If you're interested in building a home, it's best to start earlier than you think. We want to get our eyes out there and seeing what's available, what's going to be coming soon. Check out the different builders' websites. And another thing about building a home is you want to make sure that you're represented. So try to refrain from putting your information into these websites, right? You want more information from Kingston Homes, you want more information from Pacific Lifestyle, Holt Homes, because the builder is going to contact you and try to represent you. Not saying that all builders are bad people here. I am well aware of who does a good job and who doesn't do a good job here, and I let my clients know about that. But reach out to us first at Divine Realty Group. We can represent you through the transaction. We can make sure you're not being taken advantage of. And we can hopefully get you some concessions, some good deals, some interest rate buy downs, all of the things that you want when you buy a home. If new construction's on your radar, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. DM us, email us, text us, sign up for our weekend newsletter, Weekend Happenings with Hannah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.